Hello everyone, Mitch the Preacher here, preaching the gospel of gaming. Got a new exciting video going over the Outriders demo impressions. I've been really enjoying this. I've put about 20 hours in so far for a demo. I think that's pretty incredible. I've played 3 of the 4 classes pretty extensively, bringing them all up to max game level and world tier that the demo has available. What's really interesting about this demo is that the developers, People Can Fly, are allowing all of your progress to carry over to the full game when you purchase it. I think that's really smart, and it makes the demo still very productive in how you play it. What is Outriders? Well, Outriders is a third-person shooter with all sorts of RPG elements. Originally, before I had actually played it, I had compared it in how it appeared to be Destiny or The Division. I must admit, when I was originally looking into Outriders, I thought it was a live service title, games as a service, as it's become such a popular genre as of late. But I was actually pleasantly surprised to find that it is not. The games that I have since kind of grown to compare it to would be much closer to Gears of War and earlier Borderlands titles. Big emphasis on co-op, not on multiplayer or massive multiplayer. You won't have multiplayer hubs the way that you would in Destiny or The Division, where you'd be seeing other players that aren't ultimately part of your immediate party. When you purchase the game, you will ultimately get the complete game. People Can Fly are staying away from microtransactions. So really interesting title. Really excited to jump further into it. And I have had a chance to both play it through entirely solo as well as almost entirely as both a 2-player co-op and a 3-player co-op. I must say the most fun in the game is definitely derived from the perfect synergy that exists between the 4 different classes, and when your friends and yourself can ultimately chain together your own abilities to just wipe out entire squads of AI. It's a blast. Game is really, well, it's from the company that brought you Bulletstorm. So if you've ever played Bulletstorm, it's a very fast-paced, very explosive, very kind of high-octane experience. I really enjoyed the kind of plot and story that I'm exposed to so far. It reminds me a lot of, if you've watched The 100 or if you've watched The Expanse. I'm on a bit of a sci-fi kick right now. I see kind of elements of both of those shows within the storytelling without going too much into the plot, without spoiling much. The kind of long and short of it is that we've messed up Earth in an attempt to send 2 very large ships from Earth to hopefully colonize another planet. One of the 2 ships didn't make it, and ultimately there was just the one ship that arrived at this planet called Enoch. We were part of the initial Outrider group that was sent down to Earth to examine the planet and see how viable it was for colonization. But upon landing on the planet, we discovered that the planet has these massive energy storms known as the anomaly, and ultimately the anomaly brought down our ship from space, which then crashed down, and we are now kind of experiencing the aftermath of the fallout of that. So hopefully that's not too spoilery. I do think that the story plays a larger role than some other titles in similar genres, where it really is just kind of a background thing, because yes, it's necessary to have some sort of story or overarching purpose to why you're playing it, that it isn't just a endless loot grind. That being said, I have enjoyed the grind quite a bit. I've enjoyed experiencing new gear drops. It does have a similar gear drop mechanic as a Destiny or Division, so that's why it's not unusual to compare it to that. When you defeat certain enemies or open certain chests, they pop out loot of various colors, everything from gray to green to blue to purple, and ultimately to gold, your legendary, which in roughly 20 hours of playing the demo, I haven't experienced a single legendary, but the ones that I have seen in other videos and in other video game posts have been really interesting. As a fan of legendary items in both the Division and Destiny, I think that Outriders is also kind of putting in a lot of art effort in making those legendaries look really incredible, and they also carry with them considerable bonuses that can really shape the way that you play. The gear of the game is really interesting in that not only are you progressing through the game by player level, but also dynamically through world tier level. And the world tier levels, from what I understand, go all the way up to world tier 15, which is referred to as madness. Otherwise, the game kind of naturally takes you from world tier to world tier as you progress through the demo, getting you from player level 1 to player level 7. It naturally got you from World Tier 1 all the way to World Tier 5 as you finished the end of what was available to you in the demo. After you've achieved World Tier 5, you can then restart the entire demo, keeping your existing gear and weapons, and playing through it in what is now a expert mode. What's really interesting about increasing your world tier is that you will experience a much more challenging experience. The enemies that you encounter will be of a higher level than your own, but the balance to that is that your chance of finding higher rarity items, the chance of dropping legendaries, increases considerably with each additional world tier level. So, do I think that Outriders is going to be the next greatest title of all time ever? No. But do I see myself sinking 60 hours into Outriders? Yes, I think that it could be my next main game. I'm definitely excited to spend more time figuring out what Enoch is all about and what the Outriders are all about. But that's not to say that I didn't have some concerns during the demo, some of which have been addressed since, with some of the patches that they've already released. What kind of developer releases patches for demos? I mean, that's pretty impressive from People Can Fly. They've definitely supported what I believe is going to be a demo that ultimately remains up even past release, well into April. There really isn't an end date that I've found for the demo. So if you haven't had a chance to jump into the demo, I do encourage trying it. I did learn a lot about what the game was by playing it. So that wraps up my demo impressions. I hope that you found this information helpful. And if you would like to see more videos about Outriders, please do hit the subscribe button and ding that bell to be notified of future videos, which I do hope to have a few out before it actually launches on April 1st, and many more following the game's launch. If there's anything that you'd like to know more about in regards to Outriders, please do drop me a comment below, and I will try my very best to address it in a future video. This has been Mitch the Preacher, preaching the gospel of gaming, and remember, if you're not having fun, what's the point? Take care.